Good evening. Evening. We'd like to call this meeting to order. Thank you so much for those of you who are here in person, and we have two council members who are appearing. One is by Zoom and one is by phone, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you.
Are they able to hear us?
Councilman Pecora, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Deputy Mayor Sapp, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. At this time, I would ask you to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing afterward for a moment of silence. Recently, State Representative, the Honorable Tony DeLuca, he and his family have served our community for many years. His wife, Connie DeLuca, passed away. So we will be observing, out of respect for Mrs. DeLuca, a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilman Petrucci,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Present.
Councilman Pecora,
Present.
Councilman Getzey,
Present.
Mayor Calabrese.
Present. I believe we have some add-ons to the agenda.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. There were two items that came in late last week that didn't make the agenda that are here for council mayor's consideration tonight. The first is the addition of Resolution 2021-36. That will be added as item 5F to the end of the agenda. And that is a resolution that was solicited by the Rotary Club of Penn Hills. They're seeking a small games of chance license, and under the conditions of that that comes from the county, they have to have a resolution from the municipality stating that they're a service organization in order for their application for a small games of chance license to move ahead. The second item that will be up for mayor and council's consideration is going to be item 5G. We are currently performing emergency work at the Plum Creek sewage plant due to a methane leak. It's a very serious situation. Unbeknownst to the municipality and unbeknownst to the contractor, there's actually the piping outside of the building is actually a problem, as well as the piping inside. So what the mayor and council are being asked to consider is to approve additional work to repair that methane leak to the cost of about $51,000. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Before we move into number 3, traditionally, sometimes there was a mayor's FYI. I would like to do one of those right now. To be clear, we are a home rule charter municipality. The home rule charter prohibits mayor and council. We do not get involved in hiring or firing of police officers. I want to be abundantly clear that I never had a meeting with the municipal manager, Scott Andrzejczyk, nor the chief of police, Howard Burton, regarding the hiring of police officer Robert Gowans. It would be inappropriate, and I have never had a meeting with them regarding his hiring, nor have I had a meeting with the municipal manager and or the chief of police prior to the termination of Officer Robert Gowans. I'd like to move to item number 3, approval of the minutes. May I get a motion for approval of the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approval of the minutes on May 24th, 2021 and July 19th, 2021.
Thank you, Councilman. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman. Roll call.
Mayor Calabrese,
I'm going to abstain because I was not present at May 24th.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
yes,
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Pecora,
Yes.
item 3 approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for the ratification of expenditures?
I'll make the motion for the ratification of expenditures.
Thank you, Councilman Petrucci. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Getzey. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
yes,
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Pecora.
Yes.
Expenses approved.
Thank you. May we move to public comment on non-agenda items?
Yes, now is the time of the agenda for the public comment on non-agenda items. When I call your name, please approach the podium. If you could please state your name and address for the record. And if you could please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Aaron Vecchio.
Good evening, Aaron Vecchio, 231 Garlow Drive. I was here last month about code enforcement. Mr. Pecora actually came down to see what I was talking about in code enforcement. He went and looked at the properties. 1 month later, nothing is still done. But this has been going on for a couple years with code enforcement. The driveways are still have walls in them, grasses are still high. There's 2 cars still parked there abandoned for years. Here's my question. Why are we paying code enforcement to do something if nothing happens? Because if I come back here again next month, it's going to be with the news crew after I take them to all these houses to show them that nobody is doing their job in code enforcement. If you don't have enough people, like I've said at the last meeting, hire them with this money that was just given to us by the feds and the state. There is no reason for Penn Hills to look like the condition it is in. This town is going downward real quick. And it's all because people up here that are working are not doing their jobs. We can make a ton of money if we just cite these people that aren't taking care of their properties. Rodi Road, entryway. As I said the last meeting, Perillo's house, abandoned vehicles, garbage all over the house. There's nothing done to it to date. There's grass at his other property. They look like slum landlords, but yet you have him selling the municipality property. That's a disgrace. You need to do business with people that actually promote this town. Somebody better start promoting this town or it's going to be a ghost town. You got businesses running out of here. You got people running out of here. It's your job to make sure that these people are doing their jobs. I also put on the thing, Scott, to talk about agenda, about your agenda. I wrote for 2 different things, so I don't know why it's not on here. I wrote for code enforcement and I wrote for agenda. This agenda, how do you not have public comment after every one of your resolutions, like after every one of your things, that we get to comment if we want you to vote on it or not, like the school district does?
You do.
Where?
It's in the charter. It's not on the agenda. After
Okay, well, the last meeting I was here because when she brought up for making the chief of police resign, I know the motion didn't pass, but yet there was still no comments, public comments. Because when she put that motion up for the chief of police to resign, she did it after the fact that the agenda started. That's a violation of the Sunshine Law.
Okay, so the mayor put a motion up to amend the agenda.
After the agenda already started.
The mayor put a motion up to amend the agenda, and that motion failed.
Right, but you're missing my whole point, Craig. This motion was put up after the agenda was already started in motion. That is a violation of the Sunshine Law. Believe me, I've been doing this for 20
Can you
years.
please conclude?
Please
Let me
conclude.
just
Okay,
say real
well,
quick, Aaron,
here's the
add the
thing.
motion.
Embarrass the chief of police the way they did, that was disgraceful. The man has been here for this community for 50 years. The only person that should be resigning is you.
Mrs. Vecchia, may I say something to you?
Yes.
I agree with you on the code enforcement issue. It's been a problem. I don't agree that this is staffed because there aren't enough of them. This is like sending somebody out to a world war with BB guns.
No, I agree.
And the people who are here, I know they're working, but there aren't enough people to do it. In my estimate, we need at least 10 people trying to do this job. And what do we have, 3? And they're not being replaced. So I say this has been a fault of this council and this administration for years. We're paying the price now.
But it's going down.
I understand that. And I've been following this. I'm glad you're here to speak about that. Okay, thank you. But I commend you for coming up and keep bringing that issue up. And I hope that this year we are going to do something about that. And it's a failure of faith of the people.
I appreciate it. But somebody needs to put the cars out that have been sitting there for 3 years, fix the wall that's laying in the driveway. I grew up here. This town would never look like this.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
May I get a motion for Resolution 5A?
I'll make a motion for Resolution 5A, Resolution 2021-32, approving a temporary construction easement and permanent utility easement with David and Nadine Phillips.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
yes,
Councilman Getzey,
Yes?
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Pecora.
Yes.
Item 5A approved.
May I get a motion for Resolution 5B?
I'll make a motion for Resolution 5B, Resolution 2021-33, approving the acquisition and subsequent disposition of vacant property located at 634 Twin Oak Drive in accordance with the Vacant Property Recovery Program.
Thank you, Councilman. May I get a second?
second,
Second.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Madam Mayor, I have one comment. I'm glad to see this property is being taken care of. As I remember back in probably before 2015, in my previous employment, I had posted this property for tax liens, and that's going back probably 2012, 2013. And I know it's been vacant in that community for quite some time. And I'm glad to see right now that somebody has taken an interest in the property. They're going to take it over. They're going to rehab the property. And the main thing is that they're going to put it back on the tax rolls again. I think that's an important thing that has to be done with these homes that are in deplorable conditions, that we give them over to contractors that have a vision with them and can put them back onto the tax rolls again. And with doing that, we're not tearing the house down. We're not spending the $8,500 to do it. And it also gives somebody a viable place to live, which creates more population in the community. If we keep on tearing houses down the way we've been doing, there's nobody, we have no place for them to live, if you follow what I'm saying. So, and in today's society, you know it as well as I do, they're not going to build a home in Penn Hills when they could build a home in Sewickley or Warrendale or someplace like that, where they're going to get 2 to 3 times as much money. So I'm glad to see that this house is being taken care of, and it's nice to see it'll be back on the tax rolls again. Thank you.
Thank you. May I get a motion for Resolution 5? Sorry. Roll call.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
yes,
Councilman Getzey,
Yes?
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Pecora.
Yes.
Item B, 2021-33 approved.
May I get a motion for Resolution 5C?
I'll make a motion for Resolution 5C, Resolution 2021-34, awarding the contract to Sunrise Commercial Contracting for William McKinley Center Interior UFAS Improvements Project in the amount of $33,190.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman. Any comment from the public?
What exactly are you doing? What is that?
Do you want to elaborate, Mr. Blackwell, on the improvements? These are HUD-funded improvements at the center, accessibility improvements.
Like handicap in that?
ADA is-
We signed mayor and council signed in 2015, a voluntary compliance agreement that we would use community development block grant funds in the buildings where we either carry out CDBG programs or where we make improvements with CDBG funds, which in the case of the William McKinley Center, both take place there. So in
this
this
is
case,
grant.
and this is, yes, these are CDBG funds. We completed the exterior UFAS, that's Uniform Federal Accessibility Standard improvements at the William McKinley Center a few years ago. That's ramps, handrails, things like that. This contract will be interior, which will be handrails, graspable handrails, which they weren't designed that way originally when the building was built in the 30s. And then widening a door for accessibility, things like that. So these are accessible improvements required by HUD and also paid for with HUD CDBG dollars.
Okay, because isn't it under my understanding that you're trying to sell this building?
That would be one reason why we did
Right.
we've been making improvements, but at this time, that isn't taking place. And we are under a voluntary compliance agreement to carry out these projects anyway. And I don't foresee the building being sold anytime soon.
Yeah, me neither.
So I think it's time that we continue to, we did the drainage improvements, we did the exterior accessibility improvements. There was some notice about the mud in the basement. That's been completely cleaned up. So we've been getting back on, getting going on continued improvements and our commitment to the William McKinley Center.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call? I'm sorry, any comment from council?
I have just one comment. Chris, maybe you know this answer. When they put the widen the door in the front, that's going to be access to the daycare center and the center itself. Is that the one that's on the right-hand side or on the left-hand
It's
side?
on the, excuse me, it would be on the right-hand side. The senior center one is okay. It's the one on the right-hand side.
Okay. Are they going
By
to
the
put some
gym.
type of key fob system on that when they do it?
No, it'll probably be the same.
Same way it is now?
Same it is now, yeah.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Pecora.
Yes.
Resolution 34 approved.
May I get a motion for Resolution 5D?
I'll make a motion for Resolution 5D, Resolution 2021-35, awarding a contract to Sunrise Commercial Contracting for Penn Hills Municipal Building main entrance upgrade for a total contract amount of $45,230.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public?
Bill Mouts, 1335 Maple Avenue. I think the front of this building looks beautiful. What are we spending $45,000 on? That's all question I had.
These improvements aren't really related to the aesthetics of the way the front of the building looks. You may have noticed whenever the COVID, whenever the pandemic began, we had to make certain alterations to the glass out there on both sides of the vestibule. So we had to cut that glass. And that glass is a really special glass because it's a protective glass. So this project is going to replace the glass that was cut, that we had to cut in order to facilitate business at the government center when everything was closed down. This building remained open. And the only reason it remained open is because we cut that glass to allow paperwork to be passed through. So a part of the project is going to replace the glass panes that are cut And it's also going to install on either side of that vestibule, what I'll call like a bank teller door, for lack of a better word, that probably should have been included in the beginning because it would make sense. And there's also some security enhancements to the inner glass doors that's going to be encompassed with this project as well. So it's more of a security upgrade more than it is aesthetics. And it is also going to be reimbursable from the stimulus funds. The stimulus funds allow us to make alterations to entryways and doorways to accommodate for the situation. So later on in the year, after this is paid for, we'll take the stimulus, the $45,000 out of the stimulus, and we'll repay ourselves. Okay?
Thank you. Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Pecora.
Yes.
Item approved.
May I get a motion for resolution 5E?
I'll make a motion for resolution 5E. It's approved the lease with maintenance agreement with Toshiba Business Solutions for 10 replacement multi-function printers and copiers.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Thank you. Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Pecora.
Yes.
Item 5E approved. And this would be the next one.
Okay.
I would ask that the mayor ask for a motion to approve resolution 2021-36, a resolution of the municipality of Penn Hills, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, recognizing the Penn Hills Rotary as a civic and/or service organization under the Local Options Small Games of Chance Act.
May I get a motion for resolution 2021-36?
I'll make a motion for resolution 2021-36.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Thank you. Any comment from council?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Mayor. This is Deputy Mayor Sapp.
Yes,
I was wondering if someone could give us some further explanation of this, please.
Madam Mayor, Deputy Mayor, I have a statement from Jared Dillio, the president of the Rotary. I can read this off to you. I would like to encourage the mayor and council to support this resolution that is very important to Penn Hills Rotary. Back in February, the Rotary applied for a small game of chance license so they could conduct raffles and other fundraisers that other nonprofits began during the COVID pandemic. The fundraisers that they want to conduct are no different than the 50-50 raffles and other shore tip boards that you have seen in various fire departments and other organizations conducting online. The Rotary finally heard back from the Treasury this past week, and the Treasury is requesting a resolution by the municipality in order to issue the license. The fire departments didn't require this resolution as they fall under a different category. What we have before us tonight is simply a formality so that the Rotary can conduct their fundraising efforts legally. The club has several major events coming up, and it is important to them that we pass this resolution. Thank you very much.
Deputy Mayor, I think it's really sort of just an administrative issue. It's just an administrative issue. They need to have the resolution passed so that they can have small games of chance.
Okay, and so can I just get a clarification of what exactly small game of chance, what does that include?
Well, it concludes the 50-50 raffle tickets. It includes tip board. You're familiar with those. Number 7 Fire Hall did one. Rosedale Fire Hall did one. It's just that when they're doing their fundraising, if they're going to have a Oktoberfest, they can go around legally and sell 50-50 tickets. Without that, they can't.
Okay, I just never heard that come before us before, and I'm sure a lot of other organizations have done the 50-50. So can you weigh in, Scott or Craig?
I'd be happy to do one, go ahead first, or you want to take it, Craig?
Sure. Every nonprofit that wishes to do a fundraiser with games of chance is required to get a small games of chance license, and the local municipality has to approve that, and it goes then to the treasurer, John Weinstein, to issue the small games of chance license. And perhaps the reason that you haven't heard much about it is because oftentimes it's ignored, and people do it anyway. And oftentimes, the police don't enforce it. Here, the Rotary is attempting to do it the right way and get the municipality to pass it. And as John indicated, it's not only 50-50, but it's other games of chance. Ones that come to my mind are like Chuck-a-Luck is one of the games of chance. There's 10 or 15 of them. If you go to any community game day, you often see these small games of chance. They're games that you can win a small animal, not an animal, but a teddy bear, a small stuffed animal, things like that. Things that, you go away a winner and you feel good. You're not going to win anything big, but you're supposed to get the small games of chance license to be able to do those games, even though you see people often turn their head and doing it anyway.
May I add to this? Everything the Rotary, takes in goes out to service organizations or charitable organizations. No funds go to any Rotary member for any reason that I could think of. So it's all gone back to the people that need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Great. Thank you. That was a great explanation. Thank you.
Roll call.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Pecora.
Yes.
Resolution approved. Next, for consideration of mayor and council, as I alluded to earlier, I'm seeking an approval for the Plum Creek Sewage Treatment Facility methane piping replacement project, the additional work that's involved there. If council or mayor would need any additional information on the project, I would defer to the engineer.
May I get a motion for what we're now calling
5G.
Resolution 5G?
I'll make a motion for 5G, the approval of add-on work of $51,000.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Any comment from the public? Betty Arndt, 172 Highland Road. I'd just like a little explanation. Is this like a disaster that's occurred and a medical emergency? I mean, people can die from a methane leak. Were people in the park exposed? Could you give us a little more detail?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you the information I have, and then I'm going to allow our engineer or water pollution control director to share more information if what I have to say isn't enough. But we experienced a methane gas leak in the Plum Creek plant, which is obviously of a very serious nature. So under an emergency contract, we brought someone in to repair that. Those repairs were mostly indoors. They were inside of the building itself. And in the course of their doing the project, they found that the piping on the outside of the building that runs between the digester and the building, and I'm sorry, the digester, the pipe that connects the digester to the recirculation pump on the outside of the building is also not in good shape, so it needs replaced. We didn't know that, nor did the contractor know it. If you ask me what a digester is, I probably wouldn't be able to answer, but Mr. Minsterman, do you want to share any more information?
I'll just add that the first question that comes to mind is why didn't you see that when you fixed, when you had the original contractor come in and fix the problem? And the reason is it was scheduled, that piping outside looked okay from the surface. It was scheduled to be painted. And as they cleaned for the painting, they started to see little pits and corrosion that wasn't visible before they started the brush and wire brush and clean for the painting. So once they saw that, they came back to the Water Pollution Control Director, Jennifer Cohen, and explained it. And right now the system's not pressurized, so it's not leaking. When it gets pressurized, it's our opinion that it will leak. So he's on site. We don't have to remob. We have all the materials and piping to replace it. It's a very good cost. And so we recommended two things. One, that it was an emergency condition. And two, after reviewing the cost proposal, that you should accept it as a proper and economical bid.
Any comment from council? I'm sorry, did you have a comment?
Faith Milazzo, 121 Castle Drive. Someone might have said this, but is this an expense that we could be reimbursed from the stimulus money, or?
Very possibly. I think you could.
It is.
I think you can. It is. Because it's sewer related.
In case that wasn't loud enough, the question was, is this an expense that can be reimbursed through the stimulus money? And the answer is yes. Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Pecora.
Yes.
Item 5G approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for ordinance A 2685?
Now I'll make a motion for ordinance 2685, authorizing the conveyance of former railroad right-of-way known as 631-K-300 to the municipality of Penn Hills for use and development as a recreational trail.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Any comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Yeah, I have a comment and a question. I'm for this, but I'd like to know more about the location of this. Is this on Allegheny River Boulevard? Where is this?
JD Autobody.
JD Auto
This is
Body?
down behind JD Autobody.
Okay.
If I might add, Councilman Getzey, this is adjacent to Milltown Park.
Right.
Along Milltown Road, Halton Road, Milltown Community Park. And this is, I spoke about this last month, and I think that it could use refreshing also in that this is about the entire trail the Verona, Oakmont, Penn Hills, Plum Trail will go from Allegheny River Boulevard, you're correct, to Boyce Park. It'll pass Creekside Park in Oakmont, Penn Hills Park in Penn Hills, Milltown Park in Penn Hills, Bessemer Field in Penn Hills, and then the Plum Creek Park in Plum, and then it's on its way to Boyce Park. And we have this great opportunity where the property owners, these are Penn Hills business owners in the vicinity of Milltown Community Park, happen to own about a mile of trail. So last month we were able to acquire a portion. This month, Mr. James Dowlich of JD Autobody is giving us a mile of trail. A mile is 5,280 feet. So he's giving us 3,000 feet plus, and we received probably we own some of the land it happens to pass our equalization tank. I'm not going to say that's the greatest bike route that I've ever been on, but it'll pass our equalization tank, but it will pass it'll go from basically Boda Road at Milltown Park, past Milltown Park and completely along behind the Family Dollar, that area there, on its way to Boyce Park. And I also want to point out that when, say 5 years ago, a few years ago, when I was discussing with the property owners there that Penn Hills was applying for an active Allegheny grant for a feasibility study, and you always like feasibility studies and comprehensive plans. And in this case, I don't think I've ever had one that had reactions so quickly, where we've actually, and I pointed it out to Mr. Dowlich, I said, when I talked to the property owners, I said, hey, this is going to be coming through here. He was ecstatic. He said he would be the first one to ride it. He was very happy to hear about it. And so he donated this property to Penn Hills. And he was here last month, but I think that it should be pointed out too that the deed description, the plat, the drawing comes at a significant expense, and I didn't have it in my budget. And he offered, so not only is he giving us this land, but he paid for all of the
Wow.
the engineering expense that you're seeing in your documentation tonight in order to convey this property to us. So I just think it's it's really a great thing. It's something that's really doing, going by leaps and bounds. I don't know how quickly the other 16 miles is going to go, but at least Penn Hills can say we've got a mile of this trail acquired. Now we would have to build it, and you will see in the future, I'm going to be bringing to you probably some significant some significant grants to apply for to actually put the trail in. But anyway, I think everybody, the municipal officials, the mayor and council, the solicitor, these property owners, everybody that worked on this are to be commended.
Part of the question now is the rail line that goes along Allegheny River Boulevard is, they're pretty possessive. The owner is pretty possessive about
Peterson.
stepping on that. Now, is this the same rail line or is it totally?
No, this would be a completely abandoned rail line. And I apologize if I can't remember, but if it was Pennsylvania Railroad or something, Pennsylvania, the actual name of the railroad. But you're correct in that Allegheny Valley Railroad, Russ Peterson, the owner of Allegheny Valley Railroad, he's a businessman and he has trains currently on that track. It's a existing track, so you can't blame him for not wanting to maintain his business.
Yeah, I don't blame
so
him.
he is very protective
I
about
was
it.
just curious if he-
Yeah, absolutely. There's also, you've seen more recently, I think even with Allegheny County, there's been more discussion about even a light rail along that corridor. So even as the planning director, and as much as I like bike trails and things like that, if we were to have a light rail, if you could go down to Rivertown Shops and get on a light rail and go to a ball game, that would be pretty significant.
You get on your bike.
Yeah, but I think, so I don't blame him for holding out with it's wide enough, we believe, for a bike lane and the track. And, but I don't blame him as a business owner. He's a businessman and he's protecting his rights to his
Yeah, well,
track.
thanks for explaining it, Chris.
Absolutely.
I would like to make one comment. Chris, if they gave us 3,000, or would you say 3,000
Yeah, 5,000 feet total, right?
feet, maybe we could get a plaque made out to them saying this property is donated and Jim and Joe Delich.
Yeah, I haven't approached them or found out, but that's a good, it's certainly on my mind as to how to
This property donated by
recognize
them.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And the other property owners as well.
Yeah.
But I think you're correct in that they definitely need recognition.
Recognized for
And I
that.
think when you're on these types of trails, you do see interpretive signs, things like that, and signs that recognize people for their efforts. And I totally agree with you. Yeah.
And one other comment, in my lifetime so far, this has been the third time for this rail, this light train rail. I hope it goes through this time.
I know. I agree. And I think it was just set in a plan, right? I don't even know if it's not funded, but it is being discussed again.
Good, great.
Any further comment
Thank
from council?
I have another comment. I'd like to congratulate John and Kathy for the fair they had.
Excuse me, Councilman Getzey, we're still on the ordinance. That's,
Okay.
so
All right.
if you could kindly hold that till the end, that'd be great. Those of you who were here last month, there was a resounding applause when the owners were here. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we want the media to hear. This is what Penn Hills is. People were so quick to run to the media to talk about bad things. These are the good things. This is wonderful. I can't say enough. This is the kind of stuff that we've had people who, young folks from New York and California who are looking at Penn Hills, they're buying houses here. This is really awesome that they can come here and we've got this trail. I can't say enough about this. We thank the folks last month, and of course we certainly will. That's a great idea to give them recognition. That's fabulous. But this is the kind of things that we're doing to move Penn Hills forward, and this is the kind of stuff that we want the media to know. Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese?
Mayor. Oh, wait. Before roll call, Mayor, I'm so sorry. I did have a comment. I just wanted to, again, just piggyback off of what you were saying. I definitely think that he needs to be recognized in some type of plaque on the trail. It would be wonderful. And I'm just so appreciative of what he's done for Penn Hills, he and his family. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Roll call.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Pecora.
Yes.
Ordinance 2685 approved.
Thank you. May we combine the items for consideration and reports? So at this time, we'll move to the items for consideration and reports. Does Deputy Mayor, do you have any items for consideration and or report?
Yes, I do. Items for consideration. I just would like to put this out there, and it's already been put out internally, so I want to put it out externally. I would love to see a splash park come to Penn Hills, and I believe it's already being looked at, so I'm very excited about that. And I believe the location may be Universal Park, but with COVID coming and swimming pools being shut down, I think maybe some kind of way, I'm not quite sure if we could use some of the stimulus money to put a splash park in, or splash pad as it might be better known as. And that way we can allow our children someplace to come and get wet in the summer months and social distance and be safe. So that was one item of consideration. The other thing, a report, I want to just report on the job fair. The job fair, the municipal job fair, it turned out really nice. We had about 22 vendors, and just about every local union was represented. There's 12 or 13 residents who have signed up for the unions, and they are going into a class where they are going to go to class for 6 weeks and come out with all kind of certifications, including OSHA, and I don't recall all of the other certifications, but I thought that was phenomenal. So they'll finish that program in 6 weeks, and then they'll be ready to go to work. So that was amazing. S&T, I believe, had one, and John Eagle for Rona Road, I believe, had 2. So the job fair was successful. It was our first one. It can only get better from here. So thank you to everyone who participated, and to all of the vendors that came out, and even the ones who sponsored us in like Turner's Dairy, who gave us drinks, and also Vercella's Pizza, who brought pizza. I mean, I don't even know how many pizzas they brought, but they brought a lot of pizza to feed the community. So we thank our vendors and our local businesses, and just thank the municipality for coming together to put on such a phenomenal event to make our citizens even better citizens, and offer them not just minimum wages, but living wages. So thank you again to everyone who helped. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Alphabetically, Councilman Getzey.
I would like to say that you just said what I was going to say much more eloquently than I was. But you and John, I think, did a good job on it, and everybody else who put a lot of effort into it. We were away, so I missed it, but I'll be there next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Pecora.
I'd just like to say that it was nice to see the community get together at Summerfest. It was nice to see the people outside and having a good time. I thought that was a very successful event. I have a question I'd like to ask Scott. I had a constituent call me in regards to the 900 block of Cedarwood Drive. They put up no parking signs. Doesn't council have to vote on a situation like that?
Generally, yes, Councilman Pecora, any kind of a parking regulation has to be done by ordinance. Do you know who put the signs up? The residents, or we did? They just
called me and told me they were up. I haven't had a chance to go over and take a peek at it, but I will.
I can look into it. It's possible maybe that there should have been signs, and maybe Public Works checked the ordinances and then reacted that way. But I could talk to our Public Works Director tomorrow and find out what's going on with it. You said it was 900 Cedarwood Drive?
900 block, yes.
Yeah, I could check into that tomorrow and let you know.
Thank you, Council. I'm sorry. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Petrucci.
I just want to say, Kathy, can you hear me?
Yes,
Kathy?
yes, I can. Yes, Councilman, I can hear you.
Okay, we at the Rosedale Civic Association just added into the revitalization splash pad. Whenever the grants come through and we can get the park get some money to do some more revitalization. We put the wall up this week. So the front wall is up on the park, and we've got several grants out. And we added that to one of the lists of things that we're going to do. So there will be a splash pad down there eventually. I would like to thank Ron Sapp also for bringing the unions out on that job fair that we had. That was a tremendous thing that he did for the community. And one other thing, September 11th, we will be having a car cruise. Not we, but the Rotary will be having a car cruise September 11th at Penn Hills Park. Starts at 11 a.m. and goes till 3 p.m. And we'll be having food trucks, several different food vendors down there. So please come on down and get something to eat and take a look at the cars and hopefully buy some raffle tickets if we have them by then, and spend some money. And like he said before, Councilman Getzey, the Rotary raises money to give money away. That's their sole, how would you say, Jim, sole purpose in raising money is to give it away, whether it be for scholarships or books, helping children out. The Christmas that we have up here, the Rotary is very instrumental in helping. Halloween down at the Penn Hills Park, they're instrumental in doing that. There's a lot of things that the Rotary do. So that's why they raise the money to help people. And that is all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Councilman.
Mayor?
Yes, Deputy Mayor.
I apologize. I know I had my turn, but I would be remiss. That's why you never give out thank yous, and call names, because you can get in trouble that way. But I just want to also thank the EMS department. They were just absolutely instrumental and phenomenal, as well as the chief. I mean, the chief of police came out and helped put tablecloths on the tables, and in the EMS department, those guys were just awesome. So I hope I covered everyone. If I didn't, I'm so sorry, but I thank you as well. Thank you, Mayor, for letting me interject that.
You're welcome. I would like to thank Deputy Mayor Sapp for spearheading the job fair, and her husband for helping her, Mr. Ron Sapp. I was on vacation, so I could not attend the fair, but that was a wonderful municipal event. I would like to thank John Scaglione. Summerfest was just so wonderful. It was the weather seemed a little frightening, but it was pretty cool to see that everybody came out. And it was really sensational to be together with so many people. That is a terrific event, and I'm glad we're back with it. The manager and I attended a CDC meeting. There is a $2,000 grant, and we're working with the CDC to prepare a promotional video for Penn Hills. And I'm not happy that this methane gas problem happened, and I see the directors back here. Thank you so much for keeping an eye on that. I appreciate all the hard work that you're doing. While we're certainly not happy that it happened, I'm very glad the way that it happened, because it did prevent a disaster, as Ms. Arndt said it could have been. People, again, are always quick to complain, but when you take a look at our sewer system, we're the largest municipality outside the city of Pittsburgh. And I don't say this as well as Rick does, but we are further along. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. I think we are further along than any other municipality in all of Allegheny County in terms of our sewer system. Am I correct about that?
You certainly have more holding tanks, equalization tanks, pump stations than any other municipality. And, it's tough to keep all those maintained and up and running, but you certainly have the largest and most complex system in the county.
And when we looked at the map that one time, we had 12 issues, which is really, and something this, in a place this size, that's really kind of minimal. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, there's the issues themselves they're coming to life now that we have funding. So the director, her department, and we're assisting in really digging into what those issues are, trying to get ahead to maintain instead of waiting, for stuff like, the methane to get into a condition that it needs emergency action. So that stimulus money is going to be tremendous for that system to give it the jolt that it needs to get back in. Not only is it a large and complex system, to get it fully functional and straight ahead for the future. So yes, overall, with that stimulus money, it is going to really revitalize your system.
So again, although I'm not happy that we had this methane gas issue, this gives us an opportunity to take a look at each of our departments. I'm so very, very proud of our administration. Our department heads are on top of anything. Again, I wasn't at the job fair, but you heard the deputy mayor say that the EMS was involved. We've got our director here who oversaw who's overseeing the methane gas issue. We just have so very, very much to be proud of here in Penn Hills. And again, Summerfest was great. We're working with the CDC to continue to promote. And so I would ask you to speak positively. Anytime you have something nice to say about Penn Hills, please do, because this is our hometown. And I'm not asking you for a fiction. I'm saying that we have so many very good things here that shout it from the rooftops. We don't need negativity. We need to point out the very good things that we do have. I see Kathy Rayborn in the audience. I didn't recognize you with your mask on. The Shade Tree Commission, if you haven't had an opportunity to, I don't say it as well as Kathy does, but the projects that are undertaken, these are the sorts of things that are done by the Shade Tree Commission, this bike trail that we're talking about. These are the things that we need to promote, because these are the things that help our community, and these are the things that bring us out as a community. This is so encouraging to see so many people in the audience. I thank you so much, and I hope you have a very good evening, and I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night. The meeting is so adjourned.
Have a good evening.
Good night.